Lock it in with Cam Rogers right here on Believe. How are we doing? Presented by BetOnline.ag. All of the spreads that you hear on this very show, courtesy of BetOnline. I am Cam Rogers, of course. Great to be with you. Follow me on social media at Cam Rogers Live. We are talking about my best bets in college football, week 11 coming up here on the show. The last couple of weeks, I have been releasing my NFL betting card on Tuesdays. I don't see the value in doing that unless I see certain plays that I really love. And to be frank with you, I don't see a lot. So here's what I'm going to do. If I don't like the numbers and the data in the early going of the week, I will release my NFL betting card later on. So could be a Thursday, could be a Friday. Of course, if you want the most up-to-date numbers, then definitely follow my social medias. And I will be, of course, releasing my full-on card there as well. For instance, the Bears on this show on a Tuesday last week were plus 7.5. The official card on my social for the NFL with updated lines on actually Sunday morning, I believe, had the Bears plus 9.5. Now, the difference there, a loss versus a win. So I think it's best that I wait on the NFL and get you guys my college football card. And recently, I've been seeing a lot more value in college football as compared to the NFL as the season gets going, right? The lines are sharper now in the NFL as compared to college football, especially those more so meaningless games in college. So something to keep in mind there. Let's recap last week. My football weekend was the definition of average, going 6-6, technically a losing weekend if you factor in the juice there. So my best bet run right now, 21, 15, and 1. That puts me at a 58% clip. If you are betting on sports, you know that is all you can ask for. 58% clip, 57, heck, 55. Billy Walters was 55, right? Something along those lines. So if we can just keep that up, we are going to have a profitable football season. You guys know that I operate off of proven betting systems, typically with large sample sizes. It is very hard, in my opinion, to get a reverse sweep, go 0-5, go 0-6 when you utilize these proven systems. So at the very worst, in my opinion, I expect to go 2 games below 500, something like that, as far as my worst days. So just trust the data that I'm putting out there, right? Then, of course, make your own decisions. I'm getting DMs about people putting $200 on plays, and I'm not encouraging that unless that's your unit size, of course, but something tells me it's not when you're sweating it really, really hard, right? So something to keep in mind there as we go forward here throughout the season. And of course, at the end of the day, it is your decision to make that play, not mine. I'm not selling these picks. I'm just giving you them for free here on the program. Okay, enough yapping from me. I think that's all for housekeeping. Let's get into my college football betting card. Oh, one last thing. I could make some updates depending on how these numbers shift because my systems are based off of a lot of times the spreads, the totals. As those things change come Friday afternoon around happy hour when I release my full-on card on my socials, the picks could be different. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. Memphis, -11 against Charlotte. Love this play this week. Here's why. 69% system since 2014. Favorites after week 5. Opponent missed the playoffs the previous season. Team is away. Spread 10 or more, but less than 31. Opponent covered their previous game. The favorite, 125, 57, and 5 against the number. Rare betting system, only a few spots here so far this season. So love Memphis -11 in this game. And then you can apply that same system to Arizona, -10.5 this week against Colorado. These two teams are the only teams in the FBS that fit this system that's hitting at nearly a 70% clip. Memphis -11, Arizona -10.5. My first two picks in my college football card. Let's talk about East Carolina getting 8 against FAU. I am on East Carolina getting these points. Here's why. Unranked conference road dogs with a low total. This is a system that is hitting at a 63% clip with nearly, by the way, 400 games of sample size. That is the definition of long-term profitability with a really good win rate. Spread 6 or more, 24 or less. Over-under is 46.5 or less. Opponent missed the playoffs the previous season. The dog, again, covering at over a 60% clip. Here is the record, 304, 179, 15. In 2023, the system is 6-1. There is another team that fits this system, and I am on them as well. Mississippi State Bulldogs, +18.5 against Texas A&M. Another system for you favoring the Bulldogs. Underdogs of 10 or more on the road with an over-under of 45 or less. That dog covering also at a 63% clip since 2006, going 190, 114, and 17. So East Carolina and the points, Mississippi State and the points. I'm taking a lot of dogs this week. Northwestern +11.5 against Wisconsin. Your classic low total Big Ten football game. Underdogs of 10 or more on the road with an over-under of 45 or less. Again, as I mentioned, covering at a 63% clip since 2006. Now, just in general, all right, this is a massive sample size. Get ready for this system. Road underdogs within the conference with an over-under of 48 or less, covering at a 58% clip since 2006, going 455, 332, and 25. How about that for a sample size? Now, this actually went 0-4 last week, so you would expect some positive regression this week. Eventually, things even out, right? And you're seeing that with this system. In fact, it's favoring the dogs, of course, at 58%, but you would expect a bounce back here. Northwestern +11.5. Indiana +6.5 against Illinois. This is a great spot for the Hoosiers here, especially after an emotional win for Illinois. I was watching that one intently because, of course, they were on my card. One of the few games that I won over the weekend. 68% system since 2009. Opponent covered the previous game. The team is away. Week 7 or later. Over under 45.5 or less. Spread 24.5 or less. In the conference, that team covering at a 128 to 61 to 8 record since 2009. So that all favors Indiana plus the 6.5. All right. And finally, Arizona State plus 17 against UCLA. This is a 59% system since 2006, going 344, 240, and 15. Over under between 32 and 47. Spread 7 or more. Dog is away. The dog is covering at that 59% clip. Smaller sample trend here, but it's working here this season. Opponent lost the previous game. Same division opponent. Team failed to cover the previous game. Spread greater than 7.5. Team scores less points per game than the league average and then gives up more points per game than the league average. This goes back to betting ugly, okay? The dog is covering 28 to 10 to 1 since 2022. 74% clip right there. So we love that. Arizona State plus 17 against UCLA. All right. So that is my card right now on a Tuesday. Again, keep me posted with your DMs, your questions, all that good stuff. Want to hear from you guys. Memphis minus 11, Arizona minus 10.5, East Carolina plus 8, Mississippi State plus 18.5, Northwestern plus 11.5, Indiana plus 6.5, Arizona State plus 17. There could be a couple of additions in terms of my card. Yeah, I said that right. More than 7 plays on my card because I love the value in college football right now. NFL is tougher, like I said, so I'm going to wait on the NFL later this week. You can expect my full card on the show, on my socials, all that good stuff. New episode of Believe Me later in the week as well. Brandon Lang, Clay Harbor, yours truly. And then maybe a guest as well this week right here on Lock It In. Tell your friends about the show. I am Cam Rogers. We are presented by betonline.ag. I will talk to you very, very soon.